In this video, I'll show you how you can create your own text animation inside Adobe Premiere Pro. So, without further ado, let's begin. When you open Adobe Premiere Pro, you'll be greeted with the starting page. Here, click New Project and set a name of your file and location where you will store your video, and then click OK. Now, when you have opened Adobe Premiere Pro, go here below and find New Item and select Black Video, and then adjust width and height, and then click OK, and drag your video onto a video row on your timeline. Now here in Toolbar, find Type Tool, and in order to create type box, hold left click on your mouse and drag it across the screen in order to create a type box. Next, type in words that you'll be using in order to create text animation. I'll type in my YouTube name. Now, what I recommend is for each word, create its own type box, and for example, resize your type box so it fits perfectly for your word. Next, copy this object where your word is stored and drag it above your word. And now you have copied your word. Next, select it. Use left click on your mouse in order to select it on the screen and hold shift and move it, for example, towards the right of your screen. And here I'll type in graphic. Now, next thing I want to do is change a font of these words. So how you can do that is here in Effects Control, click this arrow and it will open all of these settings. And here find a suitable font. I'll be using Bebas Neue. I'll do this exact same thing for my second part of a word, and I'll increase size, for example, and adjust my type box. I'll do this exact same thing for a second word. And now use your selection tool in order to move your words around the screen where you want them to be located. Now, when you're pleased with how this turned out, we can move on to changing the color of words. For example, I'll just change my name in a different color. So how you can do that is here in Appearance, find Fill Color and find a suitable color that you want to use on your word. And now, when we're done with everything that is related to appearance, we can move on to animation. So what I like to do and what I recommend you to do is select these two words and then right click on your mouse and find Nest. When you click onto Nest, you can change a name of your nested sequence and then click OK. Now, as you can see, everything is one sequence. Now, if you want to open this sequence, just double click onto your nested sequence and it will open next to it your video rows that are placed inside this sequence. Now you can zoom in on your timeline and find your words. Next thing that I'll do is I'll animate these words. So I'll start off with graphic, but before we do this, first I want to animate my sequence. So I'll go back to my black video, and here in Effects Control, I'll be playing with scale and position. So if you want to open Scale Effect, click this stopwatch logo and it will automatically add a keyframe. And I'll also click Position, Stopwatch, and now I'll zoom in on my screen. You can do this by holding left click on your mouse and move your mouse towards the right in order to increase a certain value, or if you want to decrease a certain value, move your mouse towards the left of your screen. I'll increase my scale size and also I'll center this word. Now, this is where our animation starts. So, I'll go back to my nested sequence and animate this Matthew word. For example, I'll check out this uniform scale and it will open vertical scale and horizontal scale. I'll be using, for example, vertical scale. Here, I'll toggle this to 0 and move my keyframe a couple of frames forward and add another keyframe, and I'll increase this to 100, and this should create this animation. Now, if you want to speed up or slow down your animation, you can drag this keyframe forward in order to slow it down, and in order to speed it up, move it towards the left of your screen. When I go back to my black video, and when I press play, this should happen. I want to center this word in the middle, so I'll be using Position Effect, but before I do that, I want to play with graphic, or a second part of my word. But first, let's adjust position. So I'll add another keyframe, move a couple of frames forward, add another keyframe, and try to align these words together. Now, when I have adjusted position effect, So it does this to my animation. I want to play with second part of a word, and that is this graphic word. So how you can do that is by going back to a nested sequence, find a graphic part, which is in my case on third video row. And for example, for this part of effect, I'll be using horizontal scale. So I'll add a keyframe, move a couple frames forwards, add another keyframe, go back to my previous keyframe, toggle this to 0, and this should happen. But now I'll copy these keyframes, delete them, and go back to black video to find where my video is moving towards the right of the screen. So it's right over here. Go back to nested sequence. Now I'll add horizontal scale. So I have created a keyframe and then move my timestamp forward, add a keyframe and increase a value to 100. So I'll zoom in on my effects control and move this second keyframe closer to previous keyframe. And now it should look like this. I'll also adjust even more this position. So I'll move my text maybe a bit closer to the left side of the screen. Now we can close this nested sequence and just play with this main part of a video. So now zoom out of this word, another scale keyframe, move my timestamp a couple of frames forward. For example, type in here 100. Again, I'll move my timestamp a couple of frames forward, increase this to 400, and here I'll add rotation. So I'll click this stopwatch logo. Here I'll increase this to, for example, 228 degrees. I'll go back. Here I'll add another keyframe and type here 0 degrees. Our animation so far should look like this. When our rotation ends, I want to make my text disappear. So I'll go back to my last keyframe and here I'll add another keyframe, but in this case it's opacity and here it should stay to 100%. But I'll move my timestamp one frame forward only, and here I'll add a keyframe and toggle this to 0. And now when our rotation ends, our animation should end. You can copy this exact same process in order to create this animation, but also you can create your own text animation. Using different effects and experimenting, you can create your very own text animation. Without further ado, see you in the next video. Bye!